Welcome back. This time on Movie Lapse, I am going to explain you an action-adventure movie called Uncharted. Sit back, relax and enjoy the video. The movie begins with Nathan Drake, hanging outside a plane and entangled in fallen cargo. He struggles to climb back inside while avoiding henchmen and more falling cargo. However, as he finally reaches the top, a car falls out of the ramp and hits him. He falls off the plane but is saved when someone reaches out to grab him. The movie then flashes back to 15 years ago in Boston, where we see a young Nate and his older brother Sam breaking into a museum to steal the original map of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition. According to the legend, Magellan's whole voyage was to find hidden gold. Unfortunately, they get caught by security, and since this is Sam's third strike, he is kicked out of the orphanage that houses both boys and is forced to stay elsewhere, away from Nate. Later, Nate finds Sam sneaking out of their room and leaving to be on his own. Sam promises his little brother that he will return for him and gives him a ring that belonged to their ancestor Francis Drake, with the inscription Sic Parvis Magna, which means greatness from small beginnings. In the present day, Nate works as a bartender and serves a wealthy girl. While serving her, he takes the chance to steal her bracelet. Victor Sullivan, a treasure hunter, observes Nate and offers him a job, but Nate refuses. Later, he discovers that Sully had taken the bracelet from him and left his business card. Upon arriving at Sully's office, Nate confronts him about stealing the bracelet but is surprised to discover that Sully has other valuable artifacts in his possession, including the same map that he and Sam were after. Sully reveals that he used to work with Sam and knew that Nate was his brother. They discuss Magellan's expedition, which was funded by the Moncada family, known for their history of atrocities. Sam had helped Sully steal the diary of Juan Sebastian Elcano, which contained clues to Magellan's treasure. Nate is initially reluctant to continue the work that he and Sam started, but after going through the postcards that Sam had been sending him over the years, he changes his mind and calls Sully. Sully explains to Nate that they need to get their hands on a golden cross, which is one of the 2 keys required to locate Magellan's gold. Sully already has the first key, while the second one will be auctioned off at a museum. He reveals that Santiago Moncada, who believes the cross is his birthright, will likely try to buy it. The 2 partners begin preparing for their heist, and Nate runs a background check on Sully to ensure he knows who he's dealing with. At night, they suit themselves and arrive at the auction. At the auction, Sully recognizes a mercenary named Joe Braddock and is wary of her presence. As Nate attempts to cut the power, he is caught by Moncada's strong Scottish henchmen. Sully tries to buy time by bidding against Moncada, even though he doesn't have the funds for it. Despite evading Moncada's henchmen, Nate causes a distraction by hanging from the chandelier, creating chaos. Sully manages to get the cross and tries to flee, but Braddock nearly intercepts him until other guards arrive, and she takes care of them violently. Nate manages to escape the security guards and joins Sully in his car to drive away. Nate and Sully arrive in Barcelona to meet Chloe Fraser, Sully's associate, who possesses the second cross. However, Chloe is skeptical of Nate's presence and steals the cross from his bag. Nate and Sully pursue Chloe and remind her that she can't find the treasure without their help. Nate believes that they should start by going to Santa Maria del Pi, a church, based on the diary's clues. While staying in a hotel room, Chloe mentions that Sully is keeping something about Sam from Nate. At the headquarters of the Moncada Foundation, Santiago Moncada expresses his disappointment upon learning that his father, Armando, is donating the family fortune. Santiago tells Armando that he is not deserving of inheriting the fortune. In a final conversation with his father, Moncada reveals his ambition to find the treasure of Magellan and become the greatest explorer in history. However, when Armando refuses to finance his son's quest for gold, Moncada resorts to extreme measures. He instructs Braddock to murder Armando and take the money from the foundation to fund his own expedition. Nate, Sully, and Chloe head to the church and discover a hidden underground passageway. They use the crosses to try and open an entrance but accidentally trigger a booby trap due to Sully's misreading of the diary's instructions. While Nate and Chloe venture further underground, Sully remains above ground with the other cross. As they progress, Chloe reveals that she has trust issues due to her father abandoning his family after stealing money from one of her discoveries. They eventually find themselves in a nightclub where the next entrance is concealed behind the bar. The Scotsman and another one of Braddock's men track them down, with Braddock herself following Sully. Nate and Chloe manage to distract and fight off the Scotsman, allowing them to enter the next passageway. Nate and Chloe use their crosses to unlock a trapdoor, but the room quickly starts to fill up with water. However, Braddock ambushes Sully just as he discovers the other keyhole, which is behind the glass wall of a restaurant. Sully fights Braddock and breaks the glass to free Nate and Chloe before they drown, and Sully uses his cross to help them escape. They move on to another room where both crosses are required to unlock the door. Sully tosses his cross to them from sewer lid and they insert it to open the door. When they enter the room, they find giant urns that they believe contain the gold, but they are all filled with salt and shatter when they try to open them. Among the salt, they discover a map indicating that the treasure is in the Philippines. Chloe seizes the opportunity to steal the map and knock out Nate, accusing Sully of keeping secrets about Sam from him. Sully finds Nate, but when he wakes up, he asks Sully what happened to Sam. Sully admits that he and Sam were ambushed by Braddock, who shot Sam, and Sully had no choice but to run and leave him behind, leading them to believe that Braddock killed Sam. Nate angrily walks away from Sully. Braddock meets with Moncada, who reveals that he had hired Chloe as part of his team, and she brings him the map. He makes preparations to head to the Philippines with his crew. Back to Nate, Sully meets him and somehow makes him accept to come along to continue the quest. Then they go and spy on Moncada and his crew getting themselves ready to leave. In the plane, Moncada gathers his crew and talks about how he feels that Magellan's crew betrayed his family, and that the gold they were supposed to find belonged to the Moncadas. Braddock then betrays Moncada and slits his throat in front of the crew, then takes charge of them. Nate and Sully sneak out, but Nate's pride gets the best of him and he makes his presence known to confront Braddock about shooting Sam. He lets the cargo chutes open, leading Sully to fly out of the plane with his own chute, while the henchmen are thrown from the plane. Chloe gets in the car with the map that knocks Nate out, and the two manage to grab onto a cargo load with a parachute and land in the ocean. They float until they reach an island resort. Nate and Chloe book a room to study the map, but they find it difficult to pinpoint the treasure's location. During Chloe's nap, Nate discovers a hidden message on one of Sam's postcards that reads, "The keys are your compass." Using the crosses, Nate is able to determine the precise location on the map. However, he writes down fake coordinates, anticipating that Chloe will take them and run off. As expected, Chloe leaves with the incorrect coordinates, and Nate keeps the real ones to himself. Nate uses a speedboat to head to the location, just as Braddock and her goons arrive as well. Sully finds Nate, who comes across the cavern with two intact ships. The gold also happens to be inside the ships. Just as Nate and Sully are helping themselves to the treasure, Braddock has the ships airlifted out of the caverns, since the ships themselves are worth billions. Sully climbs up to one of the choppers and knocks out Braddock's goons. She notices him in the other chopper, and her men begin to attack. Nate and Sully fight the men on the ship, knocking them into the ocean. The Scotsman ends up crashing his chopper in one of the ships on the side of a giant rock. Braddock attempts to go after Nate and kill him herself. As Nate tries to climb to the chopper, Sully has to make a choice over saving him or the gold. Sully throws the bag of gold at Braddock, sending her falling into the ocean. He pulls Nate up, and the second ship drops right on top of Braddock, crushing her. Nate and Sully depart on a plane with Nate revealing that he had saved some of the gold. They spot Chloe on her speedboat below and wave tauntingly, knowing that she had fallen for their deception. The two continue their journey together towards their next adventure. The scene shifts to a prison, where we see that Sam is alive and well. He is writing a postcard to Nate. Nate and Sully meet with Gage to negotiate the acquisition of an item for Roman. Sully's new mustache becomes a source of amusement for Nate. As they prepare to leave, they are ambushed by gunmen. Make sure to subscribe our channel for more videos like this. Thank you and have a nice day.